Hey you guys, let us talk about this week's episode of Scandal. So there were a lot of great little tidbits in this episode. I feel like this season has just progressively gotten better and better, and I hope that continues. I'm just really gonna kind of talk about some of my favorite bits and bobs and a few observations. Probably my favorite scene in the entire episode was that scene between Olivia and Cyrus. So a little backstory, we get that Elizabeth North releases these pictures of Cyrus with the prostitute. There's lots of scandal, right? And she does it for that reason. Cyrus gets to the point where he resigns. He pretty much forces Fitz to accept his resignation, and he just kind of gives up. Olivia comes up with a plan, right, to help Cyrus, but he just doesn't care. Like, he's just ready to quit and to move on, right? So then there's this scene where Olivia comes to his house and she tells him, like, I am about to talk to you like the Cyrus Bean I know would talk to you. And it was just great. That is how it is. That's what she kept saying to him over and over again. Like, you know, the mean girls are getting you down. Guess what? That is how it is. It was fantastic. I loved that whole scene. And then by the end of it, they're doing the whole like back and forth, and you get that Cyrus is kind of getting revved up. And then he starts to fight for it. You know, he starts to fight for his job. And by the end, he is back to his normal self. Let's talk about Olivia for a second, right? Because I felt like in this episode, and really I'd say almost all of this season, I feel like we either get, you know, strong and determined Olivia Pope, or we get this like fragile little girl who's ready to like fall apart at any moment. And it's weird, right? I mean, I get that as people, we have like these multifaceted lives and different things like that, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, either she's on the edge or she's not. Even in this episode, I mean, like that scene with Cyrus, I mean, she was strong and that was really cool. But then there were several other scenes where she was just completely and totally falling apart. Really, most of that had to do with her parents. And based on both of her parents in this episode, I mean, it's pretty amazing that Olivia is even like functioning, because her parents are crazy. So you've got Rowan, right, who's doing his thing, and then he tested her at one point, right? That was a fantastic scene where there was the gun and the Stevie Wonder records, and then she picks up the gun and she points it at him because she's like, oh my God, is he here to kill me? I don't know what's going on. And then she pulls the trigger. There was some fine acting going on in that scene, right? Because Rowan just reacts to that like instantly, like he cannot believe that she would dare shoot him. Of course, there's no bullets in the gun, right? Because he bought the gun and it was really there to see what she would do. But I think that was the last straw for him. That was the moment where he was just like, you know what? I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna leave you to figure out what you're gonna do without me. Then on the other side, you got Mama Pope, who's finally out of the hole, and just like, I mean, that first scene where she was just like, my baby's here to save me. Olivia's gonna handle it. The scene that sticks out to me with her mom was the one towards the end where Olivia goes to her to try to get some help figuring out where Rowan is. And Olivia starts to freak out in the middle of their conversation and like cry. And her mother says something to her like, cry me a river, Livy, which shows you just how much compassion she has for her one and only child. Crazy parents. That's what it is. This woman has crazy parents. And we get in this episode that she's just really kind of letting go of everything. By the end of the episode, we finally learn why these pictures were getting taken of Olivia. Turns out that Elizabeth North and the vice president are in cahoots with the bad guys. They really want the president to go to war in Angola, and so they're going to force his hand, and they do that by pretty much like kidnapping Olivia at the end of the episode. They get that she is the thing that is going to make him do whatever they want. So I thought that was really interesting, a really cool little twist. I can't wait to see how that plays out. The vice president is kind of a sucky guy. I mean, we learned that in the last couple of episodes when we realized that not only is he sleeping with Melly, but he's also sleeping with Elizabeth North. Before Olivia gets taken too, let's talk about that scene with her and Jake at her apartment. The scandal dance break, as I like to call it. So there's wine and there's good music, and Olivia's dad is gone, and so she's dancing. She has decided that, you know what, I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm about to dance. And Jake is there with her trying to like talk to her, and she's like, hey, you want to dance with me? Let's dance. If not, stop talking. So before you know it, the two of them are dancing. It was just kind of hilarious. I thought it was really interesting though in that scene because there was this point where she tells him like, I want Vermont with Fitz, but I also want to be in the sun with you. It's almost like she's kind of telling him like, look, I want both worlds. You're either going to give that to me or you're going to leave. What an interesting little twist to this love triangle, right? If they both decide to go for that, if they both say, okay, we'll both have you and we'll be okay with that. I don't know how much longer Jake is going to last, you guys. I really thought he was going to die in this episode. That scene where he's like taking off his clothes and he goes back to grab a pillow and a blanket from her bedroom. Like, I thought somebody was gonna shoot him. But no, what they end up doing is running into the house and snatching her while he's in the back bedroom. Let's talk about Huck. So we get that Huck has been trying to explain to his ex why he left, but the "I was a secret spy" excuse is a little flimsy. He ends up getting his hands on some B613 files from Charlie, and by the end of the episode, he takes them to her, right? So I'm kind of excited to see where that goes for him. Yeah, I really hope that turns out well for him. Speaking of Charlie, there was this whole bit during the episode where we get that command has put a kill order out, basically for all B613 agents. So Charlie is sent to kill Quinn, but Quinn ends up coming to him to warn him ahead of time, not realizing that Charlie was supposed to kill her. I think I'm so over the whole Charlie and Quinn thing, even though I get that they're kind of both crazy and kind of probably made for each other. The two of them are hilarious. It's like they're kissing in one scene, and then the next scene is the two of them like beating the crap out of each other, a la Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt from Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and not nearly as sexy, might I add. And then that scene dissolves into the two of them sitting in the middle of this like wrecked apartment, talking about his like grandmother that died or something. It was wacky. So yeah, you guys, that is it for me this week. Make sure you tell me what you thought about this week's episode down in the comment section, and I will see you guys again really soon. Bye.